lessons from history. They can be from the distant past, although we have pretty scant information when you get back as far as Julius Caesar, which we might do on a future occasion. And they can be quite recent. This little book here, hoping it's not reflecting too badly with the light, is the story of arms sales to Iraq. And Dr. Gerald Bull was the man who invented the supergun, which Sadam Hussein, getting this sort of high-tech, finely reamed machinery from Matrix Churchill, planned to create this supergun that could project missiles across to the West and primarily to Israel so that he could agitate trouble in Israel. What is the lesson from history of the Jeffrey Bull affair or the Matrix Churchill affair or the arms to Iraq affair? The first is that you can't trust governments. They often make decisions which are short-sighted. The decision was made, let's arm Sadam Hussein. He'll provide a bulwark against the religious fanaticism of the Ayatollah Khomeini. We can immerse Iran and Iraq in a long-running war, and Saddam is our ally. Well, Saddam Hussein committed his first murder when he was 12 years old. He took his own children to see political opponents dissolved in acid. He bombed the Kurds. He gassed his own people. He wiped out the Marsh Arabs. He was a very wicked, wicked man. So the first lesson from this little snapshot of our recent history is don't encourage and feed the ambitions of dictators, because you don't know where it will end. This is in the recent memory of Adolf Hitler. And yet, within a short space of time, we were issuing export licenses to, when we knew very well where there was supposed to be a ban of sending military equipment to Saddam Hussein, export licenses for Matrix Churchill to send arms to Iraq. And then basically throwing that company, who's basically followed the government guidelines, the nod and the wink guidelines, throwing that company to the wolves. And it came out very clearly in the Scott inquiry, and there was a lot of smirking in the media and government circles because government ministers went forward and gave what were described as terminological inexactitudes, and there was a little bit of economy with the truth. Well, the truth is the truth, and lies are lies. And diplomacy is often duplicitous. And when it comes to money, people do strange things, and deceit is often not far behind, or dealings are cloaked in deceit. These are lessons from history which go back through the centuries, through the millennia, and are still with us today. We have the Panama Papers, we have hidden trusts, we have all sorts of wheeler dealing, corruption on a fantastic scale, fantastically corrupt countries. And yet we ourselves were complicit in selling arms to Saddam Hussein. Now, I am not just saying it to the camera here. When I meet former government ministers, or as happened recently, the wife of a government minister who was involved in the arms to Iraq affair, I just couldn't have a polite cup of tea. I had to say, look, this is totally unacceptable, and what an example it sets to the world. Now, we went into Iraq more than once saying that we'd regime change and we would bring a better world. But the bottom line is, if we are morally corrupt within our own government, how can we be an example to others? A lesson from history.